I'm on a John Deere 9200 tractor, working up some land. I'm up in Wisconsin on the farm, and it's planting season. So what I do during this time is I'll come up from Chicago and just be on the farm for like a week and just help out. So what I'm doing right now is I'm in the field and I'm working up the ground so that the next tractor with the planter has a nice soft bed for the seeds to go into in the ground. So that's what I kind of specialize in right now, is making this land beautiful, making the field beautiful. So I've been up here for maybe like 4 or 5 days, and we've been working. I'm pretty focused when I come up here. I'm just like, I'm gonna be in the tractor all day, 10 to 12 hours a day, just in this tractor. Now, luckily, when I tell people that I'm like going up and I'm gonna work on the farm, it's not like before when I was younger, where I'm in the fields and you have a stereo. Usually it's like located right here, and you get some local radio stations, but they're playing the same songs, like a rotation of the same songs, or you have this one talk radio station, this one sports talk, this country station, this oldie station, right? And now with my iPhone and then AirPods, so I'll have the AirPods in my ears, and then I have then I got these guys so that I can hear over the engine. Now, the tractor I'm on right now is much newer than tractors I've been on in the past. So it's much quieter, if you can believe it, because I'm sure this sounds pretty loud. But so I just go up and down in the fields all day. And I really enjoy it. It's a great change of pace for me. Because I'm coming from the city, and to me, I've said this probably many times before, but I need the country and I need the city to live harmoniously. I think humans are either meant to be in nature or with other people. So right now, this feeds my nature side, right? The smell of the earth, the dirt, and the sun, and the green trees. This time of year, everything is so green, and some of the flowers on the trees are bright pink. And today especially is a great day. That's why I chose to record this on this day. It's like the only above 70 degree and sunny day in the forecast while I'm up here. And just, the energy is, it's so magical in a way. And so while I'm here, I just think about life, take a step back. I just really have no worries. I don't worry about anything in particular. I don't necessarily think about anything. I just let my mind wander. And a friend of mine, Dr. Dave, he was like, do you find it relaxing? Do you find it therapeutic when you go up? And I say, absolutely. Now this year I've been to Mexico City, in Miami. So I'm at these places for a week, right? So I'm in a week in Mexico City, a week in Miami, I'm in Chicago, and just kind of like all over. But every year, this week that I'm up here on the farm, it feels the most like vacation. to be honest. This is my vacation. In this tractor, all day, for a week straight. That's vacation to me. And there's this focus because, you have a certain amount of time to get the seeds in for planting. Now we're doing soybeans and corn on the farm. And, it's go time. You gotta like, I love the hustle in it. And I was just saying how relaxing it is. Now it feels like a vacation, but I love the hustle and kind of working as a team with my family to get the crops in, and because you never know, it might rain tomorrow, or there might be a breakdown on one of the tractors, some of the equipment, right? So you can't just lollygag around, and that's kind of the speed that is normal for me. That's kind of my preset is full throttle all the time. People tell me I shouldn't work as much, work as hard or whatever. I don't believe that. But anyways, so this time that I've been up here, it rained 2 days, so we couldn't be in the fields because then you get stuck, and that's not a good thing. I don't know if you're aware of this, but getting the tractor stuck in the field is not a good thing. And then we had a tractor, we had a breakdown on one of the tractors. So there's always something, but you also prepare for that, right? You don't get down on it, you don't get mad or frustrated. It's like you just do the next thing you gotta do. And I think this time out in the field it's been quite different. I'm noticing this, like, I'm operating at a different level personally, and it's pretty exciting. So when I'm up here, I'm quite calm, and whereas other times when I come up here, sometimes I use it as like escapism in a way, where I'm working on all my stuff, but things aren't going exactly how I want, or I feel kind of lost. And then I try to use this to take a step back. But it hasn't been that way right now. I'm pretty confident in the direction I'm going and the things that are happening in my life around me. So it's actually quite even more relaxing this time. So I'm just out here just kind of having fun on the tractor. My dad yesterday, he said, I was like kind of finished with him. He's like, your work is beautiful. And I was like, yeah, it's like art to me. This is kind of art, the way the field looks and me preparing it and working it up. I want it to be beautiful. That's how I kind of live life. I want it to be as beautiful as possible. And when you look at whatever you're doing, if you have that mindset, it will lead to more success and great things and beauty. If everything you're doing is art, and you approach it that way, where you put a lot of thought and effort into it and care, then those are kind of the results. So when I like work up the land, I want it to be just beautiful, just like a sweeping landscape. I call it agricultural art. We have the sunflower here that digs up the dirt, and then I'm on the tractor. So these are my tools to use on the canvas, which is this rough playing field, right? And this is kind of my time to kind of, this is actually like the only time I listen to podcasts. In a way, I listen to evergreen podcast episodes. Other than that, I listen to history podcasts to fall asleep to. From basically like the Renaissance and back. So it's not as, say, emotionally stimulating in a way. If it's far enough removed, it feels like I'm quite removed from this history, so I can relax to it. But I'll listen to evergreen podcast episodes, in particular Tim Ferriss. My podcast is kind of like a amalgamation of the Tim Ferriss Show, Bill Simmons podcast, the Dan Patrick Show. And so I always have enjoyed Tim Ferriss's episodes. His are more like tech, talking to people in technology and the business world. So it gives me kind of a window into the kind of that perspective and mindset. But it's about personal growth. And I love it. So I've listened to, I think, 5 episodes already. And an audiobook on Ben Franklin. It's the Walter Isaacson biography. But I don't really like, I mean, it's fine. It's something to listen to if I'm on the tractor for 12 hours at a time. But that's not how I prefer to consume books. I still like the physical copy. And then I can underline it and mark it up. That's my favorite way to consume reading material. Yeah, Ben Franklin, learning more about him. Then I'll listen to Bone Lane and the Beatles, primarily. Some reggaeton, Harry Styles. I will say this, today, there's a correlation between when I listen to country music and the weather and time of the year. I'm very contextual when it comes to country music. It's got to be like warm and sunny, kind of summer season. I was thinking about what my so I have a richest country tunes playlist, and it's like country music from the, I would say, maybe like 04 to 08, and then some classic ones, some Toby Keith, Kenny Chesney. I don't think Garth Brooks is on Spotify. Alan Jackson, George Strait. But I was thinking, what is my favorite country music album? I think I would have to go Taylor Swift, 2006. I remember my buddies and I, after we graduated high school that summer, we all worked at this baseball diamond in like kind of clubhouse concession stand thing, and there was a jukebox there, and it had Taylor Swift in it, and we just put so much money into it and just repeated the Taylor Swift album over and over and over. And then that year we went to Country Thunder, and Taylor Swift opened for Carrie Underwood, and we were third row for Taylor Swift. We were the Swifties before before she's as big as she is now. That's a quite pure album. I really enjoyed that album, and so I listened to it a little bit out here in the field today. There's something great about just listening to country music when it's sunny out and you're out in the country. I love it. I love it. This is kind of the time of year where over the last number of years I've usually taken a trip in the spring somewhere warm. I go somewhere warm because I don't necessarily love the like grayness and kind of cold, like 30 to 50 degrees every day, and rainy, cloudy, overcast for like 3 months straight. Kind of gets to me, so I go somewhere warm every year since 2017. Then I come back to Chicago for a little bit, and then I come up here on the farm, and then once I'm done here on the farm and I go back to Chicago, that's kind of when summer kind of begins, because the weather has to be relatively nice and dry and warm to dry up any rain that we have in the fields. So by the time I come back to Chicago, it's amazing how green and how vivid all the colors are. It's like all the stimuli. It's like coming back to a city. It's like returning to a city that is different. Coming to a city that's different than when I left it. And I'm excited to go back to Chicago too and continue working on the things that I'm doing, execution. But then like go to some Cubs games, Sox games, take some more walks outside. Just the city just kind of blossoms, a lot more energy. I dig that. Now I'll like just pack a bunch of food, you know, some carrots, string cheese, almonds, bananas, apples. Had some pecans this time, some pretzels. Then I have this thermos that I use. I've been using this one since like 2017. I make some French press coffee and I put it in here. And then I'll like take a break. I'll go in for lunch for like, 20 to 30 minutes. Come back out, and then I go to beyond when the sun goes down. And my mom's like, "Oh, I can't believe you're out so long." And I'm like, "Yeah, coffee and the technology we have. I don't get bored here. Isn't that amazing? I'm just going up and down in the fields, and I don't get bored." For me, a lot in life is just coming down to execution now. The plan is kind of already created, so I'm excited for the next 6 months or so, and what we're gonna do and create and learn. A lot of my thought process right now is just getting back to learning, and you learn by doing. So that's kind of where my mind is at right now, and joy in the process and the journey. Speaking of journey, so we're actually in the field where I had my near-death experience almost 5 years ago. May 29th, 2018, jumped from a burning tractor. So I'm in the tractor right now, right? And say there's a tree line up ahead. I hear this loud pop. So I shift over here to neutral. By the time I look up, there's flames already by the cab. And my stomach drops. And I opened the door over here and I just jumped. And I got burns. I got burns on my arm. But ever since that day, when you're confronted with a situation like that, you are reminded of the fragility of life and that death is coming for each and every one of us. It's just a matter of when. And so I wanted to live a better life. Well, how do you do that? I didn't really know. But in a combination of things, I just started reading books. I just read and read and read, and then started taking up reading and practicing philosophy, meditation, and just every day getting better and better. And it's almost 5 years now, and it's been quite a journey now. I'm excited for the next 5 years and taking that approach again, getting back to basics. I'm focusing again on that. Start at the beginning. Zen mind, beginner's mind. I recently reread that book. Zen mind, beginner's mind. And just have the mindset of a beginner. Because when you have that, you're more eager to learn. Your ego's out of the way. You view things kind of like a child in that wonder, and everything is new and fresh, and there's a lot more joy in the experience. And so I'm kind of getting back to that, and just being in the tractor and on the farm, it's kind of reminded me of that approach again. So I have all these things going on in life, and sometimes I feel overwhelmed. But then, I come back here on the farm, and it's like, okay, we have X amount of acres to plant. We can't do it all in one day. So we just have to chip away at it and just make progress. And then, prepare ahead of time so that, this tractor can run during this time and everything is set for it. And we can just kind of go out and execute. But it's getting, if we have this much to do, it's getting this much done today, this much done tomorrow, this much done another day. And the accumulation adds up to success, or, the completion, right? And it's then about just applying it to applying that concept to the other things that I'm working on. When I listen to the Tim Ferriss show, he talks to all these different successful people and tries to kind of pick their brain about their processes, strategies, stories. And the pattern is that there's really no one way to do anything. It's just figuring out what works best for you and then doing that, and doing it consistently and doing it every day. Habits, right? Habits. So I'm excited for that. But it's been a nice little chat out here in the field. Breathe. And luckily here up on the farm, there's so much fresh air. I just love breathing it all in and out, input, output. What you put in, you get out. There you go. And you have to plant the seeds before you can harvest the fruits. Before you can harvest the energy, right? Farming, agriculture. You can use a lot of these concepts in your own life. Be prepared, plant, nurture, harvest. Boom.